I want you to undie. Come back, said the mother. I want you to undie. I want the dust of you unscattered. I want the hush of you unhushed. I want the cries for you uncried. I want you to undie.
I've been working on poetry maps, thinking about geography and my daughter who died 9 years ago. And I started a project with a photographer where I've gone to all the spaces she ever lived, all the way to her grave, and writing poetry in those spaces. That I think geography is sometimes underscored in terms of how much it affects a writer.
Untake the taking of you. Unsteal the stillness of you.
I'm Jaki Shelton Green. I am the newly selected Poet Laureate of North Carolina. Who is Jaki Shelton Green? I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm an aunt, I'm a great-grandma, I'm a grandma, and I'm a writer. I'm very, very informed in my writing by my life experiences. I'm very informed in my writing through family, the collection of family stories, family lore, community lore, and to think about what it is that we preserve in our telling of stories. And that's where my poetry lives, is inside a story. And I believe that all of our stories contain our poetry. I am not my poetry, but I know that my poetry very much informs how I show up in the world. Yeah, you like her? She looked like me.
Family plays a large role in Jaki's upbringing and her community as something that gives a real solid foundation and a bridge.
So I grew up in Eflin, North Carolina, which is 5 miles from Mebane. My community fascinated me. The elementary school that I attended is still like a landmark for me. These classrooms, if they could echo, there would be many rich stories and memories to share about how we're made. So when I was a child, this was actually the auditorium that had a huge stage, and my early public speaking started on the stage in this room. Where I come from, and remembering to remember, and thinking about what we keep keeps us. So this space, this ground, this earth, this soil is inside of my DNA, and it really instructs me. I've been writing since I was very, very young. I don't remember my very first poem, but I remember a poem that I wrote at 13, and I still love this poem, and it went something like, bubblegum, period. Mary Jane's, period. Orange PF Flyers, Converse, period. Saw a white boy run from a black man, period. And I wrote that at 13 based on a news clip that I'd seen. So that was the beginning of my understanding the power of words and description. I'm very, very, very obsessed with story and documenting life and looking at history from a context of poetics. To me, documentary poetry is perhaps one of the most powerful functionalities that I can think of for poetry. It does become a container holding story and how we retell that story over and over again. Yes, I'm all about craft, but I'm also all about the spirit of why you write. And that's why Sister Write has been so important in my life, creating this platform where I facilitate writing retreats for women writers. Focus is often on craft, but the other part of that is making the space where the writing can happen. Because as women, even in my role as Poet Laureate, I'm going to have to make a lot of space to be the mother, the grandmother, the teacher at Duke. You have to make a space. You have to make a seat at the table, a plate at the table for your work, for your art, for your poetry, so it can show up and it knows it has a place. Recently, I did a residency at an elementary school, Ephesus Elementary in Chapel Hill, and it was amazing to witness the children telling their stories to each other in the writing that we did, in the making of poems. We did poetry dolls, and how they introduced themselves to each other. So to watch them, to observe them, build community, that's one of the, I think, highest functionalities of the arts, is it helps us to build community. It's an incredible bridge that we all get to stand on. The arts education. We stand on in all of our otherness and our differences, and we find where we connect. We find where we connect in our appreciation for art, how we make art, the collaboration of making art, of creating music. It's not just about economics, and there has to be the literacy of the spirit. And I think the arts fosters a literacy of the spirit. That's how I've taken that work out into the world, knowing I'm real clear about who I matter to and why it matters. I know that as the first African American female poet laureate that I'm seen, and it matters to be seen. So I have to be very, very careful about understanding my responsibility of this laureateship and honoring this laureateship in a way that would do us all proud. I personally invite the people of North Carolina to invite me into their communities. I am so excited and really available to sit in community with people and to listen to their stories and to think about the rich legacy of literature and the literary arts that's untapped, that's unearthed, and I want to bring the shovels to help them unearth it. And I want to meet those people, and I want to talk to them about the poetry that they need to unlodge and to write and to tell their stories.